Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. Gonna be honest, didn't really seem like the most impactful week. Like the wrestling was fine. I thought NXT was skippable this week and I didn't really watch SmackDown, but I did make it a priority to watch Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes, match number 6. It's amazing these guys have wrestled 6 times on a regular basis, and it doesn't feel stale yet. I really got to give big ups to those guys. But I did catch up on, the news of this week. We know Bailey is going to Bad Blood to face Nia Jax, and they continue to tease a Kevin Owens heel turn. Solo Sokoa and Jacob Fatu, won in the main event and against, I believe, what was our main event actually? Was it KO and Randy Orton? Yeah, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline. And yeah, you guys already know I went on a huge rant on Cody last week. I really don't want to waste time on this. I think KO turning heel again is very tired and very uninspired when I think he could be an amazing babyface and has shown himself to be an amazing babyface in the past. But of course, nothing takes priority over Cody cosplaying Homeland or fucking Rhodes. So with that, I guess as far as SmackDown, fucking Michin beat Piper Niven. That was pretty cool. I don't really know if there are any notable talking points though for SmackDown this week, other than this rivalry between Hayes and Andrade. So, Ashton, what did you think of this 6 match in this series?
Oh, it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun. I also really just like the story that they're building off of this, where, last week there was sort of an awkward moment where LA Knight went for a fist bump and Andrade went for a handshake, and LA Knight refused to like adapt to the handshake. And so Andrade grabbed him by the arm and like turned his hand into like an open palm so that he could shake his hand. And then this week we had them actually acknowledge that with Andrade being like, listen, man, when we have a tradition in my culture where, after a match, a real man shakes the other one's hand. And before they could really even have a conversation about it, Mello attacks Knight, which I love, and then is like, we're up next to Andrade. I got you or whatever. And then they have their match, which LA Knight wants to get revenge on Mello for, but ends up screwing Andrade over by distracting him, allowing Mello to get the win. I think that's a really, really cool 3-way story that they're building. I think it's really also interesting that by doing this, we've also done pretty much what I said we were going to do last week, where we've gone now to a tie 3-3 between Mello and Andrade. I would not be at all surprised if this led to a 7th match in their series. Maybe I think it would be cool if the 7th match was 2 out of 3 falls. And I do think Mello would win that match and then get a U.S. title shot because LA Knight wants to settle a score with him now.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you're saying. I'm not going to belabor the point too much. I will
By
say,
the way,
as
I
a
wanted to
fan,
ask you before you retort or before you respond or whatever. Have I been cutting out at all?
you're fine. Yeah, you're completely
Fucking
fine.
fantastic.
So yeah, just to respond very quickly, because I'm not gonna belabor the point. I will just say as a fan, I am absolutely rooting for Andrade hard. I feel like he's been getting disrespected, like in a kayfabe way, in this feud. And so I want to see him get his. And LA Knight just once again continues to have the intelligence of a bag of rocks because you could have waited for the match to fucking conclude to get your revenge on Mello, but no, you just couldn't wait. God, I hate him. SmackDown champions suck ass right now. I'll tell you. I think the only good ones are like Naya's not too offensive, but I still don't like her, obviously. I think
Don't
the
let
best
Mark hear
champions
you
are
say
tag team.
Naya's not too offensive. Oh my god.
I do feel like overall she has been better in some ways in this run. Like I'm not going to act like
I
this
think
run
that
and her last run are entirely the same, but
at the bare minimum, I do think that she's being very well booked right now and very well written right now.
I would agree with that as well, for sure. I just think the tag champions are the best champions SmackDown's got. Like, I hate the fucking world champion, hate the mid card champion. Women's champion could obviously be better, even if I'm not like gonna come at her as hard as the world or US champion. And then tag champion just because Jacob Fatu isn't even a part of it anymore. So even that took a hit. Fuck SmackDown, and you're supposed to be 3 hours soon. Jesus fucking Christ. God damn. So
Well, yeah,
yeah,
isn't SmackDown going to 3 hours starting when Raw goes to Netflix? So in January.
Yeah, and then that's only gonna be for, like, what, 6 months, and they'll go back
Yeah,
to being 2 hours in, like, July or some fucking shit.
that's
So,
exactly what I heard. Yep.
gee yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. Hard pass. And yeah, I really feel like that's it. I mean, Cody and Ornetta segment, I really don't care to talk about it. Fuck Cody Rhodes. Again, Bailey beat Naomi, solid matchup, and it did seem like Naomi could be teasing a shift because she like acknowledged Bailey's win and like they're cool, but you could see when she's walking up the ramp, like she's really looking frustrated and dismayed with herself. That's usually the start. Already said Meechin
Yeah.
beat Piper Niven. I've heard maybe a rumor about mid card titles coming to SmackDown. And we already talked about how like Meechin would be a great inaugural champion.
Yeah.
Either her or Chelsea Green, I have like
Or
fucking
Naomi.
locked on, or Naomi. Yeah, her,
Any of
Chelsea
them, I
Green,
think,
and
would
Naomi.
be great. First, like inaugural women's United States champions. That would be awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. Already talked about the main event tag, and yeah, that's essentially SmackDown. That's it. Just
Yeah.
yeah, really, really a nothing show.
Awesome.
I'm gonna save Raw for last this week because something huge did happen, and it really did seem like the best show this week. So on to NXT, they did these weird press conferences I did not like.
It was
I
really weird.
Yeah, especially the live one they did with Julia and
I
Roxanne. I
hated it.
did not like that at all.
Hated that.
Yeah, that I wish NXT, see, this is something the black and gold era did right. I'm more or less riding with this era of NXT, right? I'm not a grumpus that's like, well, back in my day, but black and gold, what they did really well. I don't understand why we're not doing these high-end video packages anymore of like NXT
Yes.
locked in.
You know
Imagine
what
if you
though,
did
dude?
one for fucking
Honestly, they
yeah.
might not be doing them anymore because they might have just been, as far as like production and cinematography and stuff, they might have just been expensive. Because we know that NXT ran at a loss for a long time, and maybe when Vince took over and did the NXT 2.0 stuff, he cut a bunch of costs. And when Triple H took over, he didn't want to spend a bunch of money to bring those costs back to NXT. So like we might just be dealing with like a low budget NXT, and they don't have the money to do that.
I can respect that, but I feel like there are occasions where you should break the bank a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think doing a locked in say on Julia, who's still so new to American audiences, at least as far as like NXT and
Hmm.
stuff, that would have been so cool.
I
Especially
agree.
because
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know, man. So yeah, I just hated the live segment. I feel like the best press conference segment really was Oba, and that's only because that dude has presence for fucking days. Um, I just love that he was really just nonchalant about what Tony's doing because he's already beaten Tony once. He knows that he's broken him. And he even said, like, I know I've broken him. I can see it in his eyes. Like, Oba just fundamentally understands his character at such a young age. He looks so natural in any setting. He's been main roster ready for a while now. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Um, High point of NXT for me, since I didn't get Tayra, if I remember correctly. I don't think there was any like official Tayra on this show because Tatum only did a little backstage segment with the rest of the women's locker room with Ashanti, which we will, I guess, get into that because that might be an interesting story. The best thing on NXT for me was Kalani Jordan versus Ren Sinclair for the
That was
Women's
a
North
lot of
American
fun.
Championship.
Yeah.
I am so proud of Ren every week. It seems like her wrestling is getting better. Already love her character work because I call her in the group Mother Hen Ren because she,
I
is
love
kind of
that
looking
too.
out for
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And but then with everybody else, she's also kind of like awkward, but also trying to be assertive, like with Kalani when she was like trying to explain, "Hey, I'm gonna slap you in the face. Sorry," and then slaps her in the face. So yeah, great matchup. Unfortunately, Kalani wins again. And I really like Kalani in ring. I just wish there was a character I could really sink my teeth into and dissect and talk about. There just isn't any there. CM Punk had segments with both challengers for the NXT Championship match, both the champion and the challenger, Ethan Page, Trick Williams. Don't really care for CM Punk. I think he makes everything about himself, and I think he just cost Trick the title. You guys already know my prediction last week. To give a very quick reprisal of that, I think it's going to be a heated contest, and you're going to have the whole situation where it's like, oh, both guys are down. Drew comes from the crowd. He picks a fight with CM Punk. In the melee, Trick is confused. Ethan cheats, and then a new referee that's sanctioned to be there counts the 1, 2, 3 for Ethan. So Punk's beef is going to cost Trick his opportunity. That was what I essentially said last
Can
week.
I ask
I
you a
stand
question
by it.
about that, by the way?
Of course you can.
Do you think if that does happen, do you think they keep Trick in NXT or do you think they bring him up to the main roster, potentially even to fucking feud with Drew post Drew Punk feud?
I can tell you, bro, I really hope it's the latter because in my mind, as a character, Trick should not take that shit lying down.
Yeah.
And even if you want to tease it where like he's not on the main roster yet, but like after the Punk feud, Drew's trying to get on with his life, but then he has to realize like he has to reckon with the consequences of his obsession all these months.
Dude,
And because Seth's still out, we're not going to redo a Seth Drew feud, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Trick should be that reminder of his consequences. He
can I
should
have
come
you?
through the crap. Yeah.
I have another question. And so finish what you were saying, and then I'm going to ask a question.
No, I was just gonna say, like, how I would do it is Trick would come through the crowd. He'd be like taken out by security. This like he would just keep wanting Drew until Drew was like fine, and then he like names a pay per view or something, and then I would personally give Trick the win. For me, but I don't know if WWE would want to go that far. But what's your follow up question?
Um, Trick Page for the title with Punk as referee is coming this Tuesday on October 1st, right?
That is correct.
And Bad Blood is the following Saturday. That's like what, October 5th or 6th or something like that, right?
Yes, that should be correct.
What if Trick costs Drew that match?
I don't know if they'll go that far because Hell in a Cell is supposed to be like a feud ender, and I don't know if they want like any like ambiguity, like Drew would have won if not for Trick. I mean, they may do it. I don't want to take it off the table. I just don't see that happening.
Right.
Um,
That's fair. That
so
is fair.
yeah,
I think the main reason my mind goes there is because like again, this is me the way my mind thinks. Realistically, there's no way that CM Punk could beat Drew McIntyre in a fight, especially if it was a fair fight in the middle of a fucking cage. Drew would just destroy him, and Punk would be lucky to make it out alive. So, like, there's got to be some way to even the odds in favor of Punk if they're planning on booking Punk to win, which I expect them to do.
that's fair. But we also have to remember in WWE world that doesn't really have that kind
Right.
of rigorous logic that I know you
Yeah.
go with.
I
He had
agree.
him beat at SummerSlam if not
Yeah.
for Seth,
Yeah.
and like that whole thing, and then he beat him in the strap match.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like
I mean, it's kind of funny, though, because he only beat him in the strap match because Drew was cocky.
that is true. That is true.
Like Drew
Drew.
physically
Yeah,
dominated him more in the strap match than he did in the SummerSlam match.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think that a Trick will get involved because I think even as a babyface, he's like, no, this is for them to settle their business, but when it's done, I'm gonna get mine. It would be cool though if just the following night on Raw, Trick did show up because I'm telling you, as a character, he should not take that shit lying down. Like he really should take the fight to Drew. So I'm hoping that's what happens. But yeah, Punk is just like, oh, I'm gonna call it down the middle and this and that. And it's like, Jesus Christ, dude, nobody even wanted you here. Fucking Trick's not going to win the title back now, which means we still got to deal with Ethan, which means who's going to take the title off Ethan. And I would hope it would be a babyface Oba, but then how do we get there because he's North American champion? It's like, it's just Punk's creating a mess and he's not even going to be around to clean it up. Piece of shit. Anyway, don't need to talk about the Grayson Waller effect because fuck everybody in that segment. Jesus fucking Christ. Why is tag team wrestling so fucking dweebish right now? Um,
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, I was actually really disappointed to find out that the ladder match that we're going to be having for, I think it's for the tag titles, is going to be Bloodline, Street Profits, and DIY. DIY.
exactly. Exactly. What the fuck?
Like, y'all,
Uh,
your role in this feud was the bait so that you could get beat up and then the superior team could come in and take your spot. It wasn't to get actually involved in the feud. What the fuck? Go away.
I completely agree. That really made me heavy sigh when I saw that because I'm like, well, you just took what could have been a match of the year contender and you diluted it.
Yeah.
Way to go. Great, great job, guys. Um, Hank and Tank beat the Good Brothers. Fuck them. I do want to take a pause here. Normally, I wouldn't because of the person involved. Dude, are they trying to turn Lexus King babyface, or do you think this is a long con on some bullshit? Because this is a weird book match to me. What did you think about this? Oro Mensa versus Lexus King.
Yeah, I honestly, dude, I don't even know if I actually watched this match. I think I saw Lexus King and took a bathroom break, to be honest with you.
Okay, so just to contextualize it for you, just so that I could get your opinion, then I promise we'll move on because I don't want to talk about this any more than probably anybody else does. So they had a segment and they're talking about each other's fathers again, but like it's more amicable seemingly. And King's like, look, I've been seeing certain feuds they just go on forever, like the whole back and forth. I don't want that to be us. And they talk about each other's dads and what they would want. And then Oro pretty much says, like, make your dad proud out there. So, like, be above board. You say you're going to wrestle me above board, do it. And King essentially does in this match. It's Oro that cheats to get the win, putting his feet on the ropes because King does it at first, but he takes his feet off. He like breaks his own pin. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm not going to do it that way. But then Oro seconds later, he does it that way. So I'm like, because here was my thing. I was telling guys in the Discord, I thought it was like a long con by Lexus. He's going to try and be a baby face, and then he's going to find an opening. He's going to cheat again. He's going to laugh at Oro like, haha, stupid idiot. I got you, whatever. Doesn't do that. So, like, why I'm saying this is I like Oro, right? I think he can really be a fiery, fun babyface. If Oba wasn't North American champion and the scene was a bit different, I would 100% buy him as a North American champion right now because I really enjoyed the work he did as a character with Ethan Page. But, that's not the reality we live in. And I'm saying this just to say, please don't turn him heel. If you think the answer to make Lexus King work is to turn him babyface, nah, like, nah. And I'm hoping that's not where it's going. It's just I worry with the booking of that match. I think Lexus King is a dud regardless. And I'm sorry, I think Oro being a heel, like I'm not saying it can't work. I'm not saying like if you do this, I'm not gonna watch his stuff. I think Oro's great regardless, but it's like we just got done with Metaphor being heel, and I really think crowds want to cheer for them. And I've been saying that for a while. So I feel like this would be a step back. So now that you have the full context, how do you feel about it, man? Do you share my reservations? What are you hoping for? Like anything like that, and then we could just move on. Because fuck Lexus.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say here, man. Let's just move on.
Fair enough. All right.
This is one of those things where like I agree that it feels like we're just waiting for the mask to come off. I really hope that they don't try and book Lexus fucking King sincerely at this point. Like it feels the booking would feel disingenuous if they tried to make Lexus King sincere. It's a clash for sure.
This next match pissed me off. So I'll tell you, like, you didn't really have much to say about the one thing. I guess I don't have much to say about this. Fucking Ridge Holland versus Riley Osborne. And like Ridge wins.
He did, but he didn't dominate as much as we thought he would. Riley really fought for it.
Riley, more than Duke fucking Hudson, fought Ridge
Yeah,
Holland.
that's the weirdest part for sure. Duke, they really don't see anything in Duke, I don't think, and it's really sad.
It is because he has such a great personality and like he's got the look in my mind. And look, I'm not saying don't do anything with Riley Osborne, whatever. We have WWE speed now. You can have him be a main eventer there. But I mean, Jesus Christ. Like again, Ridge wins the match with the Redeemer kind of cradle DDT, cool, and I'm liking this new Ridge. I'm enjoying it. Foster knows that. But I have to wonder how Foster felt too, because I know him and I both rag on Riley Osborne. And I'm sorry, Foster, if you are like, if you thought that this was fine, I love you very much, but I thought this was absurd. I thought it was absurd that Ridge has been able to take out everybody so easily, and Riley Osborne is the one that like has got the fight in him. I'll tell you what I would have found fascinating, bro, and I'm pissed that they didn't do this yet. I wanted to see what would happen to Thea Hale if she was seemingly left all alone. Like, would she go and find somebody to fight Ridge? Would she even see things Ridge's way and be like, you guys left me all alone and Ridge is just whatever? I don't know if I would have liked that as much because I feel like the messaging is a bit weird on that. But like, it would have just been funny for Thea as a character to have to deal with this. The university that she's always been so passionate about, frenetic about, like had all this fucking energy for, just killed. And it's because of the one guy that she brought in, right? That she believed in. Like, that's a hell of a fucking complex. Like, this guy that I trusted, this guy that I said, no, no, everybody else is wrong about you. I see the good in you. And it just didn't exist. Like, that's fucked, right? That's an interesting story. But no, Riley's going to be the anchor. He's going to stand firm and be like, nah, this house doesn't fall until I do, Ridge. And it's like, what the fuck? I hated this. I thought, wow, for anybody to survive, and it's fucking Riley. You're not even an OG, you little dweeb. It should have, if you were gonna have somebody stand firm, it should have been Duke, because Duke and Thea, I feel like have been a pair in
Yeah.
Chase U, for so long, and they hold it down until Andre comes back and tries to rebuild everything. So now I don't know what they're gonna do. Yeah, I really would like to see Riley taken out. Maybe they delayed it a week for a sense of false hope. I don't know, but they should have just done it this week. I really hate when they do stuff like this. So, yeah. Let me see here. That's all I really had to say about that. Wesley and Zachary Wentz. I am so ready for this to be over. They try and drop like F bombs and swear words to get that heat. It's like, yo, I don't believe this. I don't believe you guys hate each other. I believe it's fucking awkward. You guys had that important promo before No Mercy. I thought you both kind of dropped the ball. Wes, even more so, unfortunately, repeating one line 3 times. I'm ready for this to be over. Was it the worst thing I've ever seen? No. But I don't know. I'm just
This
ready for
I'll
these guys
say
to be over.
this feud is in contention for me for feud of the year for worst feud of the year.
Definitely. Definitely. I don't even think
I
the
was
match at No
so
Mercy was
excited going
bad,
into
but
it
yeah.
too. I was so
Yeah.
excited going into it. I thought like, man, these guys are gonna cook. They're gonna put on great matches. Wes is gonna be able to really flex his acting chops and god damn. I feel like this feud has hurt Wes's stock, not even just in NXT, but like as a prospect in the company in my eyes.
Yeah. I think he can recover for sure, but it's just, I really have not liked this feud as much as I wanted to. And I'm really just hoping Wes wins the street fight and we can all move on with our fucking lives
Yeah.
and he does something, I don't know, better. This is why before Punk got involved, and I know Javaris had a message a little bit earlier. What did he say? I'm sorry, but I really don't know why everyone keeps thinking Drew fucks over Trick when he could just wait until after the match to jump Punk. Dude, Javaris, you could say the exact same thing about LA Knight Friday night. Did he wait? That logic doesn't apply. Like pro wrestling and logic don't always go together, bro. Think about Friday night, literally yesterday night. Yeah, Drew ain't gonna fucking wait
I
because he
did
doesn't
just
care.
to be
Because
clear, by the
yeah,
way, I was, very genuinely like trying to attack the situation as if your scenario was going to happen, but I do not expect for Drew to cost Trick the title. I have Trick winning the title back.
we shall see. I don't know, man. I because especially because we saw the card order and like apparently Julia Roxanne's gonna open, which I think is absurd. I hated that. So
Yeah,
I just feel like Trick and Ethan is main eventing,
they are.
and I feel
Yeah,
like
they're
a
main
main event
eventing.
is usually when shenanigans can go down. You
It
know.
is when shenanigans can go down, but it's also normally where title changes happen too.
That is true. So I think both of our predictions are still very much in contention. I don't think either one, like I could see what you're saying. It's not that I can't see it. I am just
Yeah,
firmly
I'm like
rooted. Yeah.
70% confident that Julia and Trick both win their respective titles on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Cause I know Triple H and Shawn Michaels have really and more so Shawn, because he's like kind of overseeing this, have really been like patting themselves on the back. Like Booker T even recently did an interview where it was like, man, look at that Ethan Page. He was on AEW and he was nobody, and now he's in WWE and it's a star. So they love like, they love pleasuring themselves, right, over their own genius.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm still obviously skeptical. What were we talking about beforehand? Fuck, I lost my own train of thought there. I'm sorry, everybody, because I took like
Um,
a sidebar. Um, I don't know what we were talking about. Shit. Oh yeah, no, the Wesley Zach feud. That's right.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I want to block it out of
yeah,
my memory too, bud. Don't worry.
yeah. No. I just I had higher hopes for this too, and it just really kind of has sucked eggs. Another storyline that's kind of interesting to me. We have Rosemary and Wendy Chu. They beat Carmen Petrovic and Brinley Reese. But Carmen
Yeah.
gets distracted by Ashanti giving another rose out. Now,
Ah,
before this matchup, there was a backstage segment, Ashanti giving or trying to give a rose to people in the locker room. I love the interaction he has with Tatum. He's like, oh, I'm not scared of you. I like how freaky you are, more or less. And Tatum just looks at him. She's like, my heart belongs to someone else. Oh, her dove Lyra, Tara forever. Ashanti, you're not fucking, no. I like you, man, but no, no, no. Uh, so he strikes out again. And yeah, then he comes out at ringside, offers the rose to a woman in his hands. But it's Carmen that really gets distracted by it. She's like, Ashanti, you can't do this, whatever. And I'm starting to wonder, does Carmen want a rose from Ashanti,
I
or is this
hope
more
so because they would be an adorable couple.
they would, but like yeah, dude, it's like let me think about how I want to phrase this. It's just weird because is this like I wish he'd give me a rose, which I would be interested by, because then does she become healed? Does Ashanti become more face, or does everybody kind of stay how they are? or is it more, I think what you're doing is like sexist and that kind of line thing, like just trying to pick up women so
I
easily, like being a pickup artist?
definitely interpret it more as jealousy for sure.
I feel the same way. Like,
Because
I just want
frankly,
you to know
here's the
that you,
thing,
yeah,
dude. If it was a very like logical reaction internally for Carmen and like that's not cool, you shouldn't be doing that. She didn't have to abandon her match to do that. She could have addressed it afterwards. She could have been like backstage, Ashanti, it's not cool. You shouldn't be doing that. That's not, that's sexist. That's whatever. She could have said any of that stuff after the match, but she had like a visceral reaction to seeing him do that because she had to react to it instantly.
yes,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it was like that struck a chord with her. Like that struck a nerve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not I wanna make perfectly clear, I'm just looking at all sides, but I do ultimately agree with you. You and I are on the same side on this. I
I
I
wonder
don't
if
know
it's going
though.
to lead to Carmen turning heel to like get with Ashanti, because obviously Ashanti is a heel.
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
wondering if it's going to lead to Carmen, maybe starting to try to appeal to Ashanti, and then when they get together, maybe she starts acting more heelish when they're together, and we maybe get some interesting stories there where we get like some of the other women in the locker room trying to talk to her, be like he's no good, he's a player, he's trying to get with all the other women while he's with you, and we get maybe like a story where Carmen gets her heart broken by Ashanti.
Bro, you know what would be, yeah, 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 no, I think, yeah, you just took the thoughts out of my brain because 'cause I'm like, if they do this, they ultimately, I guess, just see it seeing, like, Ashanti's still a player, and then, kinda like the scales fall from fucking Carmen's eyes and she sees everything clearly. Um,
The
but,
rain is gone.
why I'm potentially excited about this is, as we just saw with Ren, when you transplant somebody into a new environment, like sometimes they could show different facets of a personality. And like NQCC, if you would have told me that was the answer for me to not only like Ren Sinclair, but for her to be one of the highlights for me watching NXT,
Yeah.
I would have laughed. I would have been like, oh, okay, because last I remember Ren, she was doing awkward stuff with like Fallon Henley, which, oh god, speaking of awkward stuff, Fatal Influence, Jesus Christ. Uh
They're the pure fusion collective of NXT.
Women, I am so sorry. I feel like you're being failed in some parts of WWE, and it's really, really weird. So yeah, but all this to say that I hope Carmen's another Ren, where like doing something so different. Because before this, remember, she was kind of running with Natalia for so long. Uh, I
Yeah.
really do hope it allows us to show for her to show more personality and more range because it did
Yes.
wonders for Ren. So I'm hoping to go 2 for 2 here. I'm excited for this.
My mom drafted Carmen in our most recent fantasy draft.
Interesting. Your mom's a Carmen Petrovich fan.
I think she just kind of likes her look, and I know that she liked that she beat up Lola Vice at one point because they were kind of feuding because she was part of that feud with like Natalia and Shayna and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
My mom really stopped liking Lola like after she turned on Shayna big time.
Oh, that was bound to happen. I know we all love Shayna in this house.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's not so much that my mom is like a big fan of Carmen. It's just that she's like somewhat familiar with her and was like, you know what, she's cool. I'll take her
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell you something else I didn't like, man. We fucking had A Town down
under.
beating Cedric and Javon. Um, Now here's the thing. Kayfabe wise, I get it. A Town down under our former SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Yeah,
And even though Cedric's a veteran, Javon is still like a newish guy.
he's a super
But
rookie in NXT basically.
yeah, he's a super rookie in NXT. But I still didn't like this, even knowing all of that, because you have him facing Randy Orton on October 8th.
Dude, I
And
know. Dude, I
yeah,
was I was so upset at the end of this match because Javon specifically ate the pin. Why are you
that,
even
yes.
putting him in a tag team match with someone like Cedric who like let's be real, I like Cedric a lot, but there's no reason that you had to protect Cedric in this match. He could have eaten the pin so easily. There's no reason that Javon had to be eating the pin here when you see him with Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, when you have a huge match like so close for Javon and you have him be pinned by Austin fucking Theory, come
Former Mr.
on,
Money in the
guys.
Bank, former United States champion. They kind of ran down his accolades to start the show. So I think maybe they even did that as a way to soften the blow later in the night when he would pin Javon.
But like you're not wrong, right, of, like, why they did it, but for me, again, I love when you do those gross mismatches and you, like, fill the match with hope spots, you know,
Yeah,
like Benjamin Triple
yeah.
H, except Benjamin won that night. Taka
I
Michinoku versus Triple H.
yeah.
Fucking
I
yeah.
also like I think something else that makes it gross too, as far as Austin Theory specifically being the one that did pin Javon, is like, does being Mr. Money in the Bank really even qualify as that big of an accolade when you're the only person in the history of Money in the Bank to settle for a non-world title cash in?
Because he got tired of being punched in the fucking face. Uh,
Like, you literally
yeah,
couldn't hang with the big boys, so you settled for upper mid card, and like, that's your ceiling now, bro. You're never getting above that point.
I love that Roman called him out, though, and, like, Roman was just
Daddy's
right.
not home anymore. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
so
exactly.
good.
Like, Roman this is why we should all just listen to Roman Reigns. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, "Fuck you, Cody." Um But yeah, I just really didn't like that Javon ate the pin here. I get that A-Town Down Under are the more established team, and also too because of the fucking dweebs. Like, oh my god,
Frazier and
I hate the tag
Axiom.
team
Yeah,
division, dude.
it almost
I'm gonna
makes
be
me
honest.
wonder if maybe A-Town Down Under, because they won a singular tag team match on NXT, are they going to be challenging for Axiom for the tag titles soon?
We already knew that they were gonna be
They
challenging. I
are.
think they're gonna be
See, but
challenging
that's
either
why they
October
did it.
1st, October
See,
8th.
but again, though, that's like I'm not complaining that they won the match. I'm complaining that they pinned Javon. They should have pinned Cedric.
I agree. I agree completely. Yes.
That's
Again,
my really
yeah.
my only complaint here. It's like Javon is literally about to have a singles match with Randy fucking Orton. Why would you beat him right now?
I gotta say too, and I really don't mean to be disrespectful because like you, I like Cedric and he seems like a cool dude. But even when you look at like recent history, like what has Cedric done lately? Meanwhile, Javon, you could say he challenged for the Heritage Cup in a really great match, and he fucking challenged in the main event of a PLE for the NXT Championship in that Fatal 4-Way match. And now he's got this match with Randy Orton coming up. It's like clearly Javon's stock is rising.
Yeah.
So why would you make it take like the booking made no sense to me on this.
Again, this
No
just
sense.
to qualify, this is not me justifying it. I still think it was definitely the wrong decision. Maybe they did it to prepare us for Orton pinning him because I don't think there's any way Javon beats Orton because it's even in St. Louis, I believe.
No, see, and like you just said it, like I know you qualified, like it's no way to justify it, and I hate that they would justify it that way because it's Randy. You didn't have to sell me on it. It's Randy fucking
Exactly.
Orton. Like,
Exactly. You didn't have to have Javon lose to someone shittier than Randy Orton for me to buy him losing to Randy Orton.
if anything, you should be making me try and buy that Javon can beat Randy Orton. That's
Exactly.
how good
If
booking
if
works.
if
Like,
Javon can't even beat Austin fucking Theory, why would I even watch his match with Randy Orton other than AEW, ROH match quality bullshit reasons?
oh my god, yeah, I just hated this tag match, bro. And then the last big thing we got to talk about here. And God, I don't really know how much there is to say since we already kind of like mentioned at the beginning, is the live press conference between Roxanne and Julia.
Ugh.
Really, the only thing I want to talk about here is how do you feel about how they introduced Stephanie Vaquer here because she was on the Titantron at
That
the
was the
very
only
end.
cool
Like,
thing about this. That was the saving grace of this segment, in my opinion.
I do like it because I know like fans seem torn. Like, oh wait, does that mean that Julia like isn't winning against Roxanne and Roxanne's just going to go right to Stephanie
I
afterwards or
think
what?
what we
So it,
might end
it
up having is I think Julia will win the title, but Roxanne will not want to leave her alone and will want a rematch immediately. But Stephanie will be like, no, no, no. You don't get to do that right away. And the way they'll settle it is one of two ways. Either we'll get a singles match between Roxanne and Stephanie to determine Julia's contendership, or triple threat.
either way, do we see Roxanne going up to the main roster before the end of the year? Now that it seems like
You
stuff's
know
wrapping
what?
up with her.
Excuse me. Before the end of the year, no. I think she might have one more like non-title, like personal feud left in her before moving up. I don't know who. I'm not going to name any names. Maybe okay. I just said I'm not going to name any names, and then I was about to name a name, so I'm going to actually stick to my word and not name any names. But I do think that it's possible that she might have one more non-title sort of like personal feud left in her in NXT. Maybe somebody wants to try and make a name for themselves by going after the Prodigy, whatever. I think her official like sort of call up will be at the Rumble. I think she'll make an appearance in the Rumble and then just be on main roster TV going forward from that point.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't have anything else to say. This segment sucked. Stephanie was okay. Just give me the fucking matchup because I'm sure the matchup will cook.
Dude,
Um,
I'm like I really I'm really excited about Julia still. This did not take any way away any of my excitement over her. But like we heard so many reports in the spring about how she really wants to work on her English, and she's clearly gotten better at speaking English. Her English is clearly like okay, but she was not ready for a segment like this. And having Funaki out there who does understand English and does speak English, but still, even though he does speak English, he still has a really strong Japanese accent speaking for Julia. It just came off as so awkward and clunky.
I agree, man. I'll tell you what this segment did for me, and I'm really not trying to bring the heat to Julia or anything else because I know we have our fun, but as a performer, I think Julia is amazing. I do still think she could make this company a lot of money. But I'll tell you what this segment did weirdly is it made me appreciate Asuka even more. Because like Asuka to me didn't have to speak English. And really, when she spoke Japanese, it was still resonant because this woman was a master of facial expressions. Like, dude, I still remember her debut where Emma and Dana Brooke come out. They bully her, quote unquote, out of the ring, and Asuka
The
seems
smile.
dejected, and then she just looks back and she smiles at him. Like, that was fucking money. That was like, wow, with one smile, and they were so unnerved because they're like, wait, why is she smiling at us? We were just so mean to her. I said, well, you're gonna find out. You know, like
Yeah, buddy.
Asuka was a generational talent, bro. I'm telling you, like anybody that wants to know, especially like any Japanese women that are coming over and wanting to make this work, watch Asuka, especially her early NXT stuff. Watch her. Now, not everybody could be Asuka, nor do I want anybody like to be Asuka. There's only one Asuka, but just learn other things you could do. I mean, Julia, I
And you
think she
know
has
what,
great
dude?
facial expressions.
Julia, I
Yeah,
was gonna say, I would even argue that Julia, while she has a great look, I've always felt like she struggled with conveying her emotions as far as facial expressions goes. Like she can make interesting faces, but I don't really know if the faces that she makes are always really the most appropriate one at a time. Like I remember when she first showed up on the Stardom show, it almost looked like she was like grimacing when she first showed up. Like she kind of had this look of like, ugh, you know what I mean? And then like on the one NXT show where she was in the crowd with Regal, even then she kind of had a look on her face where she was like more confused than anything. And it's like, girl, do you know what you're doing with your face? Like, I'm not entirely sure if she does or not, because we know Asuka does. Asuka's the master of it, but Julia might need to take some lessons from her.
Yeah, Julia should be talking with Oscars and be like, "I need help with what? Everything. Like, show me what you're doing with your face because I want to do it with my face." Because yeah, like again, this segment, and I'm not trying to bring the heat and Javaris. Like, I want you to know, man, I'm still behind Julia. I'm still behind your wife, 100%, bro. But I just gotta call it like I see it, my man. This just shows what a value and what an asset Asuka is to the company because yeah, like this was not Julia's finest hour. I do still think ultimately she's going to land on her feet. God, I hope so. I can't deal with another Saudi situation, which this would be even worse because WWE is actually trying with Julia. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. So we'll have to see, but I still think the match between her and Roxanne is going to fucking slap. So I'm very very excited for that. That was NXT. Let's move on to Monday Night Raw. Um, and now, yeah, we get Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio in a promo. Hated this, not because of any of the work involved, but because of apparently the end game in this. Because Rhea and Liv are gonna have a match at Bad Blood, and it's not Hell in a Cell. Probably the only field worthy of a Hell in a Cell match. Looking at you, Drew and Punk, that fucking have had no fucking heat in the ring. But instead, it's gonna be Vince Russo back for one night only because Dominic Mysterio is gonna be in a shark cage above the ring. I hate this. I absolutely I hate this. I feel like again they should have had Hell in a Cell. They should have had a more violent stipulation. You were talking about so much history with these two women. They've injured each other. They've had betrayal and everything else. You know, Rhea betrayed Liv, and then Liv got Dom to betray her. Like, there's just so much animosity here. And we're just gonna put Dom in a shark cage, which honestly, too, I hate that because I feel like that puts too much focus on Dom and not the two women that could cook and very clearly have a match of the year contender. God, what did you think about this?
Yeah, this was frustrating. I mean, the match or the promo itself was decent. I mean, I'm not going to complain about the promo, but like what came out of it, yeah, very frustrating. I hate the shark cage stipulation. I've never seen a match involving a shark cage that I enjoyed or that I thought was good or that I came away with positive feelings about. It's always sucked, in my opinion.
Fucking sucked. Sorry, I said to double down. I just really, because you're right, the promo wasn't bad. The women are doing the best they can. I genuinely believe that, but it's like, God, really? Like, how cool would it have been? You want to talk about really being forward and really being like, we believe in our women beyond a PR stunt? Imagine only having one Hell in a Cell match on the show and giving it to the women and not fucking Punk Drew. Like, would have been fucking powerful, man. But
Yep.
you wasted it. You squandered it. So way to go.
The
I
thing is,
should
I
say,
think Punk Drew as a feud has absolutely earned the stipulation, but I don't think it's the only feud that's earned the stipulation, and I don't think it's fair after all these years of having multiple Hell in a Cell matches on whatever pay per view they decide to put Hell in a Cell on to only have the one when there's more than one feud that deserves it and has earned it.
yeah, yeah, like in one way, I'm glad that they're kind of being more restrictive because I think Triple H does want to bring value and prestige back to the concept of Hell in a Cell. But I don't know. I would just be gauging the reactions and everything else. Like, I'm still imagining this visual of a bloodied Rhea Ripley, like 20 some minutes into the match. Dom comes in with bolt cutters, tries to hit Rhea or, like get offense in because, it's anything goes in Hell in a Cell. And she hits a fucking riptide on him in the middle of the ring to the biggest fucking pop. But we're doing a shark cage. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like, again, these women are doing great work. Dom as a heel himself is doing solid work. I'm fine with the performers. It's just everything around them. It's the booking in this case that I'm like, you're not really doing these guys justice. I should also mention that when Liv and Dom came to the arena to start the show, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, they already began their brawl. That was kind of a thing throughout the show. I thought that was really cool. These guys, they're doing good work. I may not care for either one of them, but they're doing good TV. I think it's doing good numbers on their socials and everything else. And yeah, I'd be curious if what ratings do when they're like more focused, like in a segment. Do people tune away or they're like, I want to see how these monsters kill each other this week? But after that, we get Ludwig Kaiser versus Sami Zayn. Solid matchup. I like Ludwig. I think he's really growing into a fine competitor. Sammy wins though. And then Gunther comes out and he does this whole big buildup of, oh, I think I'm finally ready to give you an answer. No. And then he does this amazing douche smile that made me swoon. But I think we all knew he was going to say no. I'm amazed at Adam Pierce. See, again, Nick Aldis would never. I don't understand. Like, Adam Pierce, he may think he's a leader, but that's really sus to me. Why he wouldn't just come out
I
and be
don't
like,
know if Adam
Gunther,
Pierce even considers himself a leader. Adam Pierce literally puts up Twitter polls for fans' opinions on how he should run fucking Raw.
how very Elon Musk of him. Uh, so yeah, I don't understand why Pierce wouldn't come out and just be like, sorry, Gunther, you don't make that decision. I do. And then, you make Sammy and Gunther vote because it's like, okay, if it's really at Gunther's discretion, how the hell is Sammy going to get that match? Because Gunther clearly, as a character, fears Sami Zayn. So Adam needs to step in or do something because, of course, he won't because he's not Nick Aldis. So way to suck again, Adam, you bald bitch. Uh, After that, well, we got the fucking highlight of the show. We got Kofi and Xavier kind of talking. Kofi does apologize. He's like, look, I know I haven't really been doing well the New Day the last few weeks. Xavier says, hey, you said it, not me, but like in a playful way. And he said, Xavier, why don't you quarterback the next few weeks? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, man. And they seem to reconcile, which is cool. Then American Made comes in. They're talking a little bit of trash, and New Day wants them in a match tonight. He's like, wait, you want the Creeds? And then Chad's like, you'd be better off playing your little video games. And then Brutus comes in with possibly the highlight of the fucking show with a laugh that I'm not going to try and replicate because Ashton just did. And he calls them nerds. And then even Chad's like,
He even said that in a high pitch too. It was so good.
Brutus might have just leapfrogged Julius because I've been hearing for years how Julius is always going to be the next John Cena. Like he's the guy that you could build a company around. And Brutus showed me what I've really grown to like in my older age. And that's like, he made me smile. He made me laugh. He showed a bit of personality. He
It's a
came out of his shell.
willingness to make a fool of yourself that really makes you a star in pro wrestling, in my opinion.
It's very endearing. And I really like genuinely like not having fun for just a second and looking at the moment for what it was. Brutus, that's how you make a career happen. keep being vulnerable, keep being open, keep being willing to laugh at yourself because this was amazing. I when I tell you when I actually found a YouTube segment where I could get to the laugh easily and not have to navigate like a whole chunk of the show for it, I repeated this ridiculously. You know, in the Discord, I even posted that Family Guy clip of like Stewie laughing weirdly, and I'm like, oh, it was a reenactment of Brutus's laugh because
Yeah.
that's how much it was on my mind. You know, this is yeah, this is good stuff. This is really good stuff.
He's been saying I like not frequently, but there have been like one or two instances just over the last like year and a half where he's said some unhinged shit online before too.
Oh my god, wait, like what kind of unhinged
Well, like I
online
know there
shit?
was
Like,
one point where he said something about how something having a bigger booty than Bailey and Naomi or something like that, or something. It's like,
oh my god.
yeah, like he's had some unhinged moments over the course of the last year or two for sure.
God damn.
Yeah,
God damn. Jesus Christ. All right, Brutus Creed. Uh, God. So, yeah, another thing too with Xavier though, he's still, even though he reconciled with Kofi in this segment, I'm still focused on this segment specifically because we'll get to something later in the night that I also enjoyed, and that douchebag John might have liked a little too much. I don't know. Um, but you know, he's still like Kof. We need to be serious. We haven't been tag champions in like what 3 years. We can't do unicorn and stuff
I
because
think it was
Kofi brought back
4 years, wasn't it?
has it been 4 years? Well, either way, Xavier just says to Kofi, "We haven't been champions in so long, and we can't just, go backwards." Because Kofi wanted to do all this like commemorative stuff since their anniversary is coming in November, which that's the second time that's been teased. Because Xavier teased it the
Yeah.
first time, now Kofi teased it,
The
dude.
last
That's yeah.
New Day tag title run was their seventh run, and they held the tag titles from October 9th to October 12th of 2020. It was literally only a 3-day run.
Jesus Christ. Okay,
Yeah, they
wow.
won the titles. Um, oh, this isn't showing when they lost the titles. That's weird. They won the titles from Cesaro and Nakamura on Draft Day 2020. And I'm not entirely sure why they. Huh. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm sorry.
Was this before or after their NXT tag title run? I don't want to confuse you
Oh,
further
you
with
know
whatever you're
what? I
looking at.
wasn't counting NXT.
Yeah, I mean WWE probably counted NXT, so I feel like canonically we should
You
probably
know
count
what? Let
NXT as
me.
well.
Well, their NXT tag title run was literally like a year and a half ago. It was from December of 2022 to February of 2023. So that was a lot more recent.
Yeah, I just know Xavier in the promo. I think he said 3 years. That was all I was,
Oh, you know
saying.
what though? I'm looking now, and so okay, Kofi and X. So the reason that the championship reign that I was looking at was listed as only 3 days is because they swapped tag titles. It was like a draft swap thing, and they went from SmackDown to Raw, and then they held the Raw tag titles for another 69 days. So that was a 72-day reign total. It was just split between SmackDown and Raw, and then they also held the tag titles in March, like the spring of 2021, and that was the Raw tag titles. So that was one where they won it from the Hurt Business and then lost them to AJ Styles and Omos at WrestleMania.
Okay, okay.
But that
So
was in
yeah, well,
2021. So that was probably the 3 years ago reign that X was referring to.
yeah, so he kind of mentions that and he says, we can't go back, we can only go forward. So Xavier wants a more serious New Day. And so I say that because at the end of the segment when after, American Made leave
Yeah.
and Kofi and Xavier are wondering like why Brutus's voice is like that. A guy comes in with a stack of pancakes and Kofi does kind of the whole throat. So like, no, 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 right now he's not in the mood. And then Xavier's like, oh, do I have something on my shirt? He's like, no, no, you're good, man. You look great. So yeah, I thought that was a fun little comedic segment. But after that, oh god, we get fucking Liv and Dom backstage with Judgment Day. They talk about how they're gonna handle business, but then Ilya gets involved, and it
Dude,
seems like
oh, I'm
yeah.
so sick of him already. And he's only been on the main roster for like 6 months.
I just don't see why you would do this, right? That's kind of my thing. I don't really have a problem with Ilya, you know that, but it's like, okay,
I
didn't Braun
respect you
Breaker
for
yeah,
that.
yeah, didn't Braun Breaker like take you out? Like, why aren't you just gunning for him? Especially now that we'll get to that, but we know the Braun Breaker situation has changed already. And it's like, why Judgment Day? Like, what are you gonna team with somebody and try and take those titles? Like, I just wanted Sami Zayn and Jey Uso to be tag team champions. That's it. Now, granted, we got something really, really fucking cool. I don't have sour grapes. I want to make that perfectly clear before anybody comes for me. But like, Sammy and Jay should still be tag champions at some point in time.
Yeah,
What the fuck? And now
would
I
be
got to worry
nice,
about,
without a doubt.
yeah, absolutely. And then I got to worry about, like, fucking Soviet Union LARPing ass being like, oh, I might want the tag. No, go to your room. Fuck. Dragon Lee beats Carlito. That's a shame because, I really like that Carlito heel turn. I still wonder if Carlito ever thinks, I can't believe I turned on Ray for this shit. Um, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, they continue to brawl. That even affects a match that Miz, I think, was supposed to have later with Bronson Reed. So that's just like a whole thing. I feel like, again, I like the energy. It's all been good. Drew cuts a promo, pretty much says, like you, Punk, my family also wanted me to not do this matchup, but I'm gonna do it, and I know for the first time you're telling the truth. I could see it in your eyes that you're serious about wanting to end me, and I'm serious about wanting to end you. And he says he's gonna break Punk permanently inside Hell in a Cell. Drew is always consistently great on the mic. You guys just know I am so goddamn over this feud. I really wish Drew was world champion right now. But at least we got Gunther as world champion, so what life could always be worse. But yeah, and Punk, I really just want Punk to go away. So, not really much
It's
there.
true.
Sky Pirates beat Unholy Union. Before the matchup, Bianca and Jade were kind of talking with Io and Coyote. Well, really, nobody talked to Coyote. Everybody talked to Io, which, I mean, if that's not a perfect metaphor for being a Coyote fan in WWE, I don't know what is, but, there you
See, now
go.
you know why I wanted her to be the first ever, the inaugural women's intercontinental champion. It would be perfect.
It would.
Just as
Not
a
as
way to be
perfect as
like, hey everyone, I'm really fucking good too. Stop ignoring me, goddammit.
that is so true. And I say this even knowing how much I love Kyrie, still not as good as your face though. All right.
That's precious,
Next.
but wrong.
Well, I disagree. In fact, I beg to disagree even. Anyway, we have New Day versus the Creeds. Really fun tag match, but Chad does get involved and it's Xavier taking his eye off the ball. So guess you don't really know how to quarterback Woods. And
Oh my
then the
god. RIP to headphone users. Goddamn.
Exactly. And so then the Creeds do win the matchup. Xavier's all pouty and fucking angry about it, like, yeah, and we lost again. Damn it, Cove.
And
But
it's
you,
clearly your fault, Kofi, even though it's my fault. Fuck you.
yeah. God, if the New Day weren't so fucking culturally significant and they weren't so long standing, I would be salivating at this. But my conscience is like, no, John, you know there's a limit. And I'm like, damn it, conscience, you're right. Fuck. But I will say I did revel a little bit in this. The New Day were backstage talking about their match when the LWO showed up. Rey Mysterio said it was their bad for the miscommunication last week, which I'll say this in character. And I can't even believe that I'm saying this, so fuck this whole storyline for this. But Rey, it wasn't your fault. Like, Kofi came to you guys and he asked for the favor. So, like, I would have assumed that Woods was okay with it if Kofi was going. I would have thought that Kofi would have been representing the New Day's interests collectively. So I can't really fault Ray for that if I'm just being sincere. So again, fuck you storyline for that because I never want to be on Ray's side with everything. It's fucking Oscar, for fuck's sake. Um, and then Xavier Woods starts arguing with Ray about it. He's like, well, that doesn't really do us any good now. And everything you're saying, that's like unsolicited advice that would have been better if you would have given it to your son Dom. And then Kofi was looking at Xavier like, but dude, what the fuck? That was out of pocket as hell. And Xavier, and I am proud of him for this, he doubles down. I think it is very courageous when you're surrounded by a lot of people to double down when you're being the asshole. And Xavier was like, no, no, I am in the right on this. So good for you, Woods. Good for you. Um, and then Wood showed a little bit of his inferiority complex, hard relate, when he said, oh, you think that you can talk to me like this, or you think you can worry more about Finn Balor? Because I think Ray said, I got Finn Balor next week. I don't have time for this. And he's like, oh, You think you can worry about Finn more because he's a former world champion and you're a former world champion and Kofi's a former world champion and nobody respects me because I've never won a singles title, right? And Kofi's just like, bro, what are you like? Nobody's saying this. What? We're not. We are challenging this. Literally, what are you doing? And then Ray is just like, you know what? You know what? Finn can wait. Next week, it's me and you. Now, I am excited about this. Woods is a great competitor and he's an amazing personality. So, really, overall, as a wrestler, he's great. And I know it's weird coming from me because the one thing I always hyperfixate on in a douchey way is his selling because his selling's fantastic. Best crybabies in the business. But collectively, dude's got it all. I've never understood why he hasn't even had a mid card championship yet. When he had that whole stint on Twitter where he was campaigning to be United States champion, I'm like, WWE should have ran with that and they should have given him at least a brief US title run. Like the idea that all this dude has done in WWE specifically is tag gold, it's a bit insulting. I just can't believe that you have to, commit sacrilege. You have to completely destroy a 10-year running faction, potentially. It hasn't happened yet, but we're all still nervous, I'm sure, for any of that to happen. It's like, maybe fuck you. I don't know. Now,
No, no, you were
personally,
right. It is a fuck you.
yeah. Personally, just because it's fucking Ray, and I don't even say that like it's fucking Ray and like me being a heel, but because no, it's Ray. He's a legend. He can take a loss. I hope Xavier cheats to win next week. And I hope he wins. Like, I hope he, like feeds that delusion. It's like, oh, it's me. And then maybe they resolve it another way. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I think it'd be a huge win for Woods, but we'll have to see what happens. And, Kofi even says, bro, that was unnecessary. And then Woods is like, unnecessary. We're here to win. Kofi, and then they're coming here and disrespecting us and all this. So Woods is kind of trapped in his own world here. And and Foster saying, I'm just saying, none of this tension would be happening if the New Day pod was still a thing. Foster, I'm gonna answer you
If the
probably
New
more
Day pod
sincerely
was
than
still
I
a
should.
thing, they'd still be arguing about what a twin is.
Hey, apparently it's a legitimate discussion. I don't know,
It isn't.
but wow. But I do have to say, Foster, answering you probably more sincerely than I should. Where the fuck is E? Like, dude, you see your friendship, like that you've cared about so much, disintegrating before your eyes. Like, where are you to even be like, look, I'm not a competitor anymore, but I'm always gonna be your brother. What the hell are you guys doing? Like, get your head out of your like, what is this? Kof, you need to be talking to Xavier a lot more when you have ideas. And Xavier, when did having fun become a bad thing? Right? Like, come on, man. That's the core of who we are. You can't abandon the core of who we are because either you don't succeed or you do succeed and it's meaningless. Like, come on, E, talk to him. Preach on the fucking mound, my brother. I'm begging you. Uh, Super Blue said, and Big E is a former world champion, which means he can't save the New Day. God damn, Super Blue. Oh God damn it. And then Javara said, none of this would have happened if the ref hadn't left the ring 2 weeks ago in the title match. Fucking zebras. See, Javara's cracked it. That was the real culprit the whole time. Um, yeah, I don't know. This storyline discomforts me because I'm like, I would feel so much more excited to be truthful if I knew Woods was gonna be okay. I don't think he's gonna get a big push out of this. I think before long he's gonna be having matches on fucking main event, and it's like, wow, okay, okay, cool. It's really nice, really nice. Now, if he would be the one to beat Jay for the Intercontinental title, that would be interesting as hell. But I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Jay, he's backstage. Oh yeah, I guess yeah, we get this matchup next year. So fuck yeah. He's backstage, he's getting ready, he's getting hype. So we do Jay versus Braun Breaker. I thought this was a great TV match. Oh my god. Actually, before I go any further, I feel like I talked a lot in the New Day segment. What did you think about this title match, man, at main event Raw this week?
Which title? Oh, Sammy J. Or not Sammy.
Braun Jay, Braun Breaker, yeah,
Braun
for the
Breaker.
Intercontinental
Yeah,
title.
Jay. Yeah, this was a really cool match. Lots of really cool moments and like individual spots sprinkled throughout the match. And they had one of the coolest near falls that we've seen in a long time in all of wrestling, and really cool actual finish and decision made by WWE here.
Yeah, I am so happy and proud of Jay. I think Braun, I had Angel. You guys know Angel in the chat, so I don't mind like name dropping him. He sent me like messages after that match, and he couldn't believe that Braun lost the title already, and he seemed pissed about it. But I told Angel, Jay deserves this. He's been doing consistently great work as a singles competitor for the longest time. And B, Braun's so young yet, and like he's growing at a fine rate. Like that near fall spot he had after the first Uso splash, most veterans couldn't pull off a near fall like that with the late kick out. I mean, that was fantastic. If Braun can like internalize that as a babyface, he's gonna make so much fucking money because he'll know how to get drama amped up in a match. Um, he's still a freak power wise. I love the spots these guys did. Yeah, it was just great. I think the rematch is going to be great. Do you stand by the way, before I continue talking, that Braun may just immediately get the title back and they're just going to have this kind of running feud of
I
top
wouldn't
tier of
be
the
at all
Intercontinental?
surprised if Braun got the title back either at Bad Blood or within the next month at some point. Yeah.
I'm still inclined to agree with you. I agreed with you then when you first said it, and I still agree with you now. If Jay is able to get Braun though again, I don't know, man. I would like to see Jay hold on to it for a little bit, and I think Xavier Woods as a heel. I mean, look, if we're gonna do this bullshit, right? This is more me trying to like brace myself and accept it. I think you should put the Intercontinental title on Xavier. I think him as IC champion would be interesting as hell. I'd be here for it 1000%. Either him or Ludwig Kaiser are my two top picks to beat Jey Uso if Jay gets past Braun. I can't stress that enough. Um, so yeah, I will say though, in this moment, super, super fucking happy for Jay. Hope it's a fun reign, however long it is. Or Gable Caster. You're absolutely right about that. Gable deserves fucking something. I've been saying for the longest time now. So I like that though with Jay as a babyface. It feels like he's got at least a handful of compelling heels to face right there. You can also go back to Judgment Day if you wanted. Maybe Dom takes the Intercontinental title from Jay because he doesn't like that Jay was going after Rhea, even though him and Rhea are over, just because Dom's an insecure heel, kind of thing. So I mean, you have Dom, you have fucking Braun again, you have fucking Xavier, you have options, you have Ludwig Kaiser, you have Chad Gable, or as Foster said, or Jay just keeps it. I mean, you got to drop a title eventually, Foster. I'm just talking about options, unless you want him to retire with it. In which case, who am I to say no to you? You're beautiful and the best thing that happened to the planet. So what the fuck do I know? So yeah, Braun, whatever happens with him, he's still going to make a fuck ton of money. I can't wait to see this dude get rich and win capitalism because somebody should if we're all going to fucking be under this shithole. And so, yeah, good for Braun, good for Jay, fun main event. And that is the WWE week. Is there anything you want to talk about from AEW?
Yeah, actually there is. So I didn't watch like most of what happened on AEW this week, but you know me, I'm always trying to keep my finger on the pulse of what does go on, at least with the women that you know that I like in AEW. And Jamie
Yes.
Hayter is one of those women, and she wrestled tonight actually in Collision, and her match in Collision tonight was against Soraya in a match that was called Soraya's Rules match, and it was like a bunch of lame stipulations. Like one of the stipulations with the match starts when Soraya, and I'm quoting Harley Cameron here because she said this into the mic, slaps the slag.
Okay.
So it was implied there that like the match starts when Soraya slaps Jamie Hayter, right?
Classy.
Right. But so here's my thing though. Soraya or Jamie thankfully won the match. That's the good note. That's the really good note. Jamie won. And another good note actually is that there was no point in this match where Jamie looked weak. Jamie really did a great job in this match. She really looked strong in the whole match. I won't say she dominated the match by any means, but because it was effectively 2-on-1 with Soraya and Harley both being able to do anything pretty much that they wanted to Jamie, the fact that she was able to fend both of them off and still win makes her look really fucking strong to the point that like I feel like she should absolutely be in contendership for whichever women's championship she wants at this point. So like if she wants to go after Mercedes, do it. If she wants to go after Mariah, that's like feud of the year material right there in my mind, right?
Absolutely.
But I have to complain about one thing in the match that just really bugged me because like, have you ever been watching a match and you're just kind of like mindlessly enjoying the entertainment and then something happens and you're like, wait a minute, did that really just happen? And or that just happened? And like you almost have to like rewind to be like, is that real? Like, did that actually just happen? And then it's like, no, yeah, that actually just fucking happened. What the hell? What are they doing?
Yes, for sure. What
I know
happened
that's
here?
happened for us with like I think there was like even like the big four-way or the big like gauntlet type match where Trick like took everyone's offense and then randomly sprung up and pinned three people to win the match. or whatever it
Yes,
was.
yes, yes, yes.
That
Yeah,
was like
Iron
one
Survivor.
example of that where it's like you're just kind of enjoying it. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool, and oh man, this is crazy, and like how's it gonna happen? And then it just happens, and there's no real like logic or believability to it. Well, yeah, so like something like that happened in this match where Jamie had Soraya up in like Alabama slam position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And she ran her through a table that was set up like leaning onto a turnbuckle, like up against a corner.
right.
Jamie slammed Soraya through the table. And again, like, I'm just like, oh, wow, that looked like it would hurt. Jamie is clearly has the upper hand, right? Like, Jamie's clearly got the upper hand here. She's clearly doing well for herself. She's clearly, on the momentum's on her side. And next thing you know, they both start stirring at the same time. So it's implied that like Jamie took as much damage from the table as Soraya, which she clearly didn't. Soraya clearly took the brunt of the table. And B, Soraya gets to a chair and is able to stand up and attempt to use it on Jamie first.
Yeah, yeah. It always sucks when that happens.
The
At
silver
least
lining
yeah.
out of this specific spot is that Jamie was more with it to the point that she was able to reverse and it ended up hitting Soraya in the head with the chair. Like, I think Soraya was trying to throw Jamie headfirst into a chair that was propped up into the corner, and Jamie was able to reverse that and send Soraya into it. But like the fact that Soraya got up first and was like ready to like use a chair on Jamie is just so ridiculous to me. When Jamie is the one who sent Soraya crashing through a table. Like that was the most recent thing that happened in the match. And not only were they both stirring at the same time, but Soraya got to like a knee and then to her feet the first, like but first between the two of them. That was just so ridiculous to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was, and again, like it's not like it was one of those things where it was like, oh man, that was like a desperation move from Jamie to even the odds. No, like Jamie was on the offense for the majority of the match. It's not like Soraya was beating her ass and Jamie just pulled that table spot out of nowhere to try and even things up, and that's why they were closer to even than Soraya being weak or whatever. No, like Soraya should have just been out at that point. Jamie should have been able to do whatever she wanted to her at that point. But no, Soraya got in the next offensive attempted maneuver, and it was ridiculous. But again, that was a flaw in an otherwise decent match and a match that I'm happy about the result of. So positive and optimistic about Jamie Hayter's future, whatever comes next in AEW. Now, let's talk a little bit about Grand Slam because I know nothing about this week's Rampage at all. Fuck Rampage. Rampage is the new dark.
Right. Okay. So what about Grand Slam? Because I will just say this, if I could just cut in very quickly. I know that John Moxley beat Darby Allin for Darby's championship match. Now
Yeah.
John Moxley has it, and it's going to be, I think, Danielson versus Moxley at Grand Slam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So
So
that is true. And that aside, I'm going to just not even talk about that because I didn't watch that match. I heard it was, well, I heard that it was the type of match that a lot of people liked that I would have hated if I would have watched it. Let me put it that way.
right, right.
Because Darby did a bunch of stupid shit.
Oh yes, he did. I saw some of it, but we won't get into that. Please continue.
So I have one big complaint and a lot of good things to say about one particular thing on this show. Which would you like for me to talk about first?
I hate AEW regardless. So talk about the bad shit, so then maybe the good shit will actually be good. I don't know.
Okay, so the bad shit is they opened the fucking show with Danielson McGuinness.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I heard about that. I'm like, wow, they don't know anything about card structure and building anticipation at all, do they?
Dude, do you know what the worst thing is? Is that like you know how every week they post, and by they I just mean like AEW's social media team, whether it's the AEW Twitter, Tony Khan Twitter, whatever. AEW's social media team posts an image of the card for Dynamite that week. Earlier on the day and Wednesday, usually they do it. And it's just to be like, hey, internet people, here's what's happening on our show today. Check it out, right? On that very image, it literally said on the Danielson McGuinness section of that image, there is a fucking asterisk and it says, if Brian is cleared to wrestle.
Right. I remember you saying this in the Discord, and they don't even milk that. They don't
Exactly.
even milk
They don't
that, yeah.
even milk it. They blow their fucking wad to show, like, to open the show. They jerk the curtain with it. Like, you literally could have baited people. You could have literally kept people waiting with bated breath for an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. You could have been, taking peeks backstage, doing interviews with doctors, do an interview with Nigel. You could have done something where you show a fucking video package of Nigel's matches from Ring of Honor from 15 years ago to be like, this guy's a fucking badass, and get your less familiar viewers familiar with his stuff. But no, you just go right into it. It was such a fucking waste. I can't believe Nigel McGuinness, of all people, came out of retirement for this fucking shit. Jesus Christ, I hate Tony Khan.
On a personal level, I am happy for Nigel, but I feel like he should have been treated with a lot more respect than this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
Dude, this is
That's
the kind
yeah.
of match that WWE builds an entire show around.
This would have main evented. Like, even if it didn't
Yeah.
main event a pay-per-view, this absolutely would have main evented
Yeah.
a Raw or whatever.
This is,
Like,
and especially
yeah.
because, like, you literally had a match on this show to determine the contender for Danielson's championship. You open the show with that. You open the show with the contendership match, and then all day it's, who will John Moxley face at Wrestle Dream? Who will John Moxley use Darby Allin's title shot on? Will it be? And actually, now that I think about it, Danielson's match with McGuinness wasn't even for the title, so I shouldn't even be saying that. But still, like, Moxley's going to be facing Danielson at Grand Slam. Will he be cleared to wrestle for that even? Will Nigel McGuinness even get a match? Like, they're building it up this whole time, but no, they just blow their wad immediately. They're just like, no, 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 guys, don't worry about the asterisk. Everything's fine. Danielson's fine. We're doing the match immediately. I hate it so much.
Yeah. Tavares did say the match itself was good. What did you think of the match itself, at least?
The match was exactly what you'd expect it to be. It was Danielson McGuinness, man. Of course it was great. It was awesome, but, like, I just hate the way that they presented it.
In a way, that makes it even worse because imagine like an actual Danielson McGuinness matchup, which is the quality that you would expect it to be,
Yeah.
and it's not even main eventing. So,
Yeah.
but no, we have to see Darby take unnecessary
Dude, and,
back
and
bumps
here's the
and
thing
shit.
too. McGuinness thanked Danielson right before he tapped to the label lock. How do you not close the show with that? Are you fucking kidding me?
But Darby's more important, and so are skinheads.
Dude,
That's
I hate it so much. I hate it so fucking much. Oh,
what other bad stuff happened before we get to the good stuff, or was that like the
that
only
was
bad thing
the
you want to
only
mention?
thing that I really wanted to even address negatively. There was a little bit of a cool thing on here. Hook successfully defended the FTW championship against Roderick Strong and then retired the FTW championship after the match. Got a big hug in with his dad and then walked away.
Thank Christ he's moving on from that. Dude, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone. They retired it. Let's see what they do with Hook
I'm
now.
happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then, you know what? That was the last thing that I really watched on the show prior to the women's match because I tuned out because the next match was the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Will Ospreay at home. See if you can figure out which one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
Did you
Um.
hear what I said?
I forget who you said it first, but versus Will Ospreay at home, which I just assumed that it was fucking Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So the Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Fletcher was the tag match, and it was actually for the tag titles randomly for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if Fletcher and Ospreay did anything to earn contendership. I'm sure that in Tony Khan's twisted fantasy in his mind, he probably had some way to justify it because there always is some way to justify the bullshit. But yeah, it was. I'm sure that this was the type of match that makes AEW fans nut, but the type of match that makes me tune the fuck out. Thankfully, though, after the match, we got something really fucking cool. MVP showed up.
yes, he seemingly interrupted like who? I saw
Prince
that he
Nana.
interrupted Prince
Prince Nana
Nana
came
or
out and he said that there was nothing that could keep him down. Swerve is not cleared to compete right now, but then MVP came out and basically said that he thinks that he can take Swerve to higher heights than Nana and basically offered to manage Swerve and take him off of Nana's hands as a talent as far as management goes. Gave Nana his card to give to Swerve, and that was pretty much the segment. He literally told Nana that Swerve's the fact that Hangman is still walking around smiling is a fault of Nana and not Swerve. Like Hangman, like MVP is saying like basically that like Swerve is isn't he doesn't have a killer instinct enough. You know what I mean? That's basically like MVP's thing here. So he's trying to become Swerve's new manager. He's trying to replace Nana as Swerve's manager.
And I'm just expecting Swerve to buy into that and be like, it is your fault, Nana. It's time to swerve when I drive again. Um, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about from AEW?
Yes, the actual main thing that I wanted to talk about was the AEW Women's World Championship match because Mariah May defended it against Yuka Sakazaki, and this match fucking slapped.
Nice. I love to hear that from Mariah and Yuka. Honestly, Yuka's amazing too. So
Yuka's
that's cool.
fantastic. We actually the match. I want to say Yuka jumped Mariah to start the match, and we got like a little bit of a brawl on the outside before the match started. So we got like a little sort of like peer into the window of Dark Yuka very early on in the match. But yeah, it was really good stuff. Unfortunately, though, they didn't get nearly enough time. I even was saying like in the Discord and stuff, I wish they would have gotten 5 more minutes because this match only went 6 minutes and 11 seconds.
No, come on. With those two, you got to give them 10 plus at least.
Nope,
Fuck.
6:11.
Anything else?
It's fucking exhausting, isn't it?
That's why I don't watch, brother. That's why I don't watch.
Like I said, I try not to watch, but I do like to keep my finger on the pulse of the people I like. And really, at this point, it's pretty much just the women that I like. In specifically Mariah and Jamie. I don't even really watch Mercedes segments anymore, honestly.
Well, her mic work is atrocious, so I can't say that I blame you.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's all I've got to say about AEW. We can probably finish it here, unless you have anything else to say about anything else.
No, God, no, please. So did you do any extracurriculars this week?
No.
I watched. Oh God, I just had her name pulled up in my fucking history. I watched Xia Lee's TNA debut. I think she's going by Mei Ying Lee.
Oh, that's
So
weird.
yeah, she. Here's the thing. She didn't look too bad. I actually think TNA could have something in her. I like the entrance. The crowd seemed into her at first, although at one point in her match there was a "We want tables" chant. So once again, crowds being annoying.
Oh, she's going by Lei Ying Lee.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Um, and
I thought it was
so
weird though because Mei Ying was Wendy Chu's gimmick.
yeah. And people even kind of mentioned that in the comments, but yeah, it's Lay, not May. Um, but yeah, she looked fine here. You could tell where she's like still learning some stuff. She's still
God,
very green, and now
how
TNA I think is
fucked
gonna
up
try
is
and
that though? Do you know how long that woman's been wrestling for, dude?
6 years,
7?
close enough. Uh,
That's crazy though. You know who
yeah,
else has been wrestling for less than 7 years?
a lot of people.
Oh, Tommy,
Yeah.
Julia, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, yeah, I look, I just hope it works out for her, you know?
No, I'm
I'm
not even.
actually
I'm not. To be fair, I'm not trying to shit on her. I hope she does continue to grow and get really, really good. And I hope that maybe even at some point she gets good enough that she's able to come back to WWE and maybe even show them that like I'm really good now and I can maybe potentially even be a women's world champion at some point. I'm rooting for her. I think that she seems like a total sweetheart and she was always so good to Kairi when they were in NXT and stuff. Like she seems like such a good person and I really do want to see her succeed. I'm more just commenting on how shitty the training in the performance center must be.
Yeah, dude, no, for sure, because you can even see in TNA, I don't know who got in her ear. I do feel like it was one of her better matches. I'm not saying it was great or perfect or anything. I'm just saying relative to her WWE stuff that I remember, I actually like this a bit better. I would like to check back in with her in 6 months and see where she is then. I will say this too, and I do not say this to be mean. I just know the nature of the business and stuff. I'm surprised that she's still wrestling, which tells me that maybe she does really love it. So because of that too, I'm also rooting for her because I would have thought that after the WWE stint, it's like, maybe I just do something else or whatever. But no, she really wants this wrestling thing to work. So, and with TNA collaborating with NXT, Maybe she'll end up on NXT at one point after she's gotten some polish again. I don't know. But yeah, that was the only extracurricular I did is I checked out her match just because I was curious. She beat Hyan in a singles match. She actually looked pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see more of her too. But yeah, that was the only extracurricular. So with that said, let's open up the forum for questions, guys. What questions do you have about this week in the world of wrestling? Super Blue, before I even introed the segment, got a question in. He knew it was coming. He said, "Do you think Moxley is winning the title now? The match will be in Daniel Bryan's home state for the pay-per-view." I do think Moxley's winning. They keep talking about Danielson's neck. I'm amazed he's even the champion at all, to be honest. I mean, wow, to go with an injured and look, I know it's Bryan Danielson and he's great, but to go with an injured white guy when you have a like black world champion that seemingly didn't have any health issues or whatever, and he just got done this crazy fucking match with Paige, so he seemed fine. I don't know. It just seems weird. I get that it's Danielson, he's fucking great, but neck issues are nothing to fuck with if it is real, and I'm assuming it is.
Dude, it really
So
just feels like Tony Khan was like almost like like hitting the panic button. Like I've had Brian Danielson on my roster for like 3 years now, and I've never given him the world title. I can't allow myself to never give him the world title. So before he takes off and like stops wrestling full time, I have to give him at least like a pity world title run, and that's why he cut Swerve's run short. It's like Coney. It's like
yeah.
Tony's own incompetence just leads to him making more bad decisions to try and cover up for his own incompetence.
It's a whirlpool. Um,
It is. It's a
so
snowball. It's a vicious cycle. It's an Ouroboros. An
that's good
Ouroboros.
tail
An,
me.
an Ouroboros of shit.
That's good feces me. Thanks me. Fresh from the ass.
It's an
Um,
it's an Ouroboros.
Oh my god. So yes, to answer your question, Super Blue, to circle back around, I do think Moxley's winning the title.
Same.
What about you, Ashton? Do you think they're giving it to the skinheads?
Yeah, I do. I think they're actually going to do it. I think they're actually going to put the world title on the guy who's quoting a neo-Nazi film. Yes.
Oh my god. We really are going further right. Pay attention, everybody. This none of this is an accident. None of it. Um Caster, Caster Sales. Is Cody right now an equivalent to Jericho? I would like further context for that. I know Cody's insufferable and Jericho's insufferable, so by that metric, yes.
You know what?
Um,
I kind of get it. I kind of get what he's saying. Like early AEW Jericho, when Jericho was like the AEW champion and he was like super over and the fans were singing his music as he was making his entrances. I kind of see it. Yeah, I do. I actually do kind of see it. That's funny.
Damn. Well, there you go. Next question from Foster. Any potential surprises for NXT next week? Maybe we'll have Motor City Machine Guns in the crowd.
That's what he
I'll
wanted to
say,
hear for sure. That's what Foster asked that question for, I think.
yeah. Foster, whatever surprise you want, I want to make perfectly crystal fucking clear. You deserve and you're beautiful. So if NXT doesn't
Yes.
give it to you, they're wrong and fuck them.
Exactly. See,
Uh,
that's the real answer we should have given the whole time.
in fact, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to do any better than that. So that's my end of that question. Let's see here. Javaris, that's more of a lamentation than a question, so I'm going to skip over that. Caster Sales, what do you think Paul Heyman will do when he comes back? I'm starting to wonder if he even is going to come back, but if he does, he's probably just going to continue to be the wise man for Roman Reigns.
It would be
Um,
amazing if he came back with Roman and Roman just treated him better, honestly.
God,
Because
yeah,
like
dude, I know. Yeah.
a babyface Paul Heyman being allowed to cut his promos as a face, that might slap for real.
I agree. That dude, that brief period where he seemingly was a babyface, like with Brock, and he gave all those props to Big E and everything in that one promo, that was great. I don't know. A babyface Paul Heyman hyping up Roman Reigns, I'd be here for that. I think that would be absolutely beautiful. Um, so Super Blue now. How do you feel about LA Knight's title reign being longer? The oh my god. I'll tell you what. LA Knight's still an old fart that can't fucking work and can't get the stick out of his ass where Braun Breaker's going to be making millions of dollars by the time LA Knight needs to use a fucking walker because he's old as shit. That's how I fucking feel about it. Yeah.
Can we
So,
agree that the Intercontinental Championship is significantly more prestigious than the United States Championship as well?
yeah, because first of all, just yes, because after going through his historic reign. Second of all, even by championships, the Intercontinental title is all the continents, which means it includes countries that don't suck. Meanwhile, the U.S. is like the nationalistic title. It's like, yeah, U.S. number one. When like, no, Have fun representing a country with a shit healthcare system and like a litany of other problems. You fucking goofus. Anyway,
I'm
um,
just saying, like Braun achieved more by winning the Intercontinental Championship at all than LA Knight ever has in his entire WWE career.
and let's also look at, I mean, who did Braun beat for that Intercontinental title? Oh
Sami
yes,
Zayn.
Sami Zayn. Who did LA Knight beat for that title?
I
An
don't
internet
remember.
nobody that's getting sued.
Who was
Fucking
it?
Logan
Oh, it
Paul.
was Logan. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like, it kind of feels like they put the title on LA Knight out of like publicity. Even like they might not have even wanted to put it on him. They might not have even had the plan to put it on him. But then Logan said some awful shit about Iman Khalif, and they were like, "Shit, we got to do something. Let's put it on Knight."
Yeah, your LA Knight's fucking washed, Super Blue. He's washed. His title reign's fucking washed, and he'll always believe that he was better than he actually was, and that's a prison that he keeps himself that's comfortable, so he doesn't have to face the reality of how much he actually fucking sucks. Get back to me again when he removes the stick from his ass, which all you could say to that is there is no stick, which isn't the same as he removed it. Denial isn't good, Super Blue, and it's also not a river in Egypt. Next
No, it
question.
is a river in Egypt, but it's also what
Yeah.
state Blue Super Blue is in.
Yes, yes. Um, any predictions for war games from Caster Sales? Um, I don't know. Temu Bloodline versus Roman Reigns' team of maybe Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso and maybe Jey
Ugh.
Uso for one night only. I don't fucking
Zilla
know.
Fatu? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just gonna be Roman versus
Hikuleo!
fucking Solo.
Hikuleo! I've heard that Hikuleo has officially signed.
That's true, but I thought they wanted to start him in NXT, but then again, what War Games is in like fucking November, so
Yeah.
like I don't know, a month in NXT. I guess that's enough time. I get what the fuck.
Alex
So
Foster in chat be like, thoughts on Hikuleo headed to NXT?
I like Hikuleo. I'd be curious what he could do in a WWE system. So I'm open to it. That's all I'm gonna say. Is just I'm open to it. Yeah.
Tavares.
I love how he said rather than stick ass, he said a stick. I don't know. That phrasing made me
Uh,
pop.
yeah, the
Um,
same. The bum with the ass stick.
I love that we all gathered around Braun to protect him, and just remember that even though Jey Uso deserves the Intercontinental title, that doesn't mean we can all go around putting disrespect on Braun's name. Thank
Yeah,
you, people with good sense. I love you.
yeah.
Appreciate you. See
Who's
you.
ever said main event LA Knight? Fucking nobody. But main event Jey Uso. That's who it took to take that IC title off of Bronathan.
I'll tell you who says main event LA Knight. Fucking Eli Drake's fucking poor ass in the mirror when he wakes up every day. Main event LA Knight. Yeah, is that before or after you cry for 10 minutes at the inadequacy of your own talent, you bitch?
Yeah.
Anyway,
While you're staring in that
God.
mirror, maybe like turn around, bend over, and grab a pliers to start pulling out some of those splinters.
Again, you, me, Sean, so many of us have been saying, detach the stick from your ass, and it just doesn't happen. Caster Sales. Do you think Solo will pin Cody at Bad Blood? Okay, we need to get something clear though, because I don't want to like give the game away on anything. Are we just not doing Bad Blood? Did you and I agree on that? Because I feel like that was kind of the mood last
Yeah,
week.
I think it would be a really good idea for us to either fully skip Bad Blood or exclusively watch like, and by watch, what I mean is really is react to maybe like. Actually, no, I think we just skip Bad Blood entirely because I feel like they've ruined Rhea and Liv by giving it that stipulation. I don't give a fuck about Punk Drew in a steel cage or in Hell in a Cell or whatever. And like, I'm sure we'll watch it together, but we're not going to bother reacting to it. I don't think.
All right, so then I could say this. I do think Solo's team is gonna win. I think it would be interesting for Cody to take the pin, but I
But
think it's
Jacob does the pinning.
dude, yes. Yeah, like, look, I'm sorry because I was watching clips from SmackDown. I don't hate the dude, but I gotta say this in the context of the storyline. Fuck Solo, y'all. It's
Dude,
not working. Like,
I think Solo might be the only guy in that entire like universe, like involved in that entire storyline with less aura than Cody.
how do you do that, Solo? No, I need
You're
to talk to you right now.
Samoan, bro. How do you have less aura than this fucking pasty ass Homelander motherfucker?
Solo, I need you to listen to me right now. Um, this is unacceptable. Okay? I can't have people giving Cody credit at your expense because you can't get good. Um, that's a real problem for me. So I'm gonna need you to make a concerted effort to suck less. Maybe duct tape your talent together as heavily as you tape together that thumb to seem threatening. And just fix it. Because yeah, I hate Cody Rhodes so much. I hate this whole thing so much. I just want Roman as champion again. I feel like I was safe. I feel like I was warm and loved, and things were going to be okay when Roman was champion. I mean, sure, he abused other people, but they weren't me. So who gives a shit? And now that Cody's champion, it's like, I don't know. I'm affected, which just changes everything. It really sucks. It really sucks. Okay. um Javaris, can Cody just turn heel and put us out of our misery? No, because he loves himself too much, and he needs to be loved. He has a complex
Well,
that way.
he loves himself, and like you said, he needs to be loved, and he loves merch sales too much.
I'm making too much money. What? Fuck you. Fuck that fucking theme song. Fuck.
I'm
God.
surprised you went for it. Yeah, damn.
With disdain. Uh, let's see. Foster, if Roman had to bequeath the tribal chief status, it should be to Tongaloa. Oh, wow. Wow. Tongaloa and his chops. Okay. Caster Sales, do you have any expectations for Dwayne versus Cody during the Mania season? I have an expectation. I expect me to skip it. Fuck Cody. Dwayne's okay, but I expect him to be kind of old through the whole
To
thing.
be
So,
fair, Dwayne and Cody, and more specifically Dwayne cutting promos on and beating the ass of Cody, was literally the best content we've had all year on WWE.
fair, fair. I just we just know Cody's gonna fucking win, man. I'm not fucking here for this shit. God damn it. Um,
But as far as if we have any expectations for Dwayne versus Cody during Mania season, I'm starting to think that they're going to hold off and push that back a year. I'm actually starting to think that we might just get Cody Roman 3 at Mania 41 and then Cody Rock at Mania 42. I don't know. Maybe.
where are we gonna get Rock Roman in there? Because I feel like we need to get Rock Roman in there. It's gonna be like a SummerSlam thing,
SummerSlam
maybe.
in between. Yeah, that would make sense.
God, Cody, fuck you. Uh,
Yes, exactly. That is
Super
the
Blue,
correct answer.
Super Blue. I feel like we already answered this, but okay. Do you think Lexus King could have better luck as a face? I think Lexus King could have better luck not being a wrestler. Do something else.
I think Lexus King could use a little better luck on his face because it's fucking awful.
Jesus Christ, I love you for that, but holy shit, I can't believe you went there. Um,
I mean,
so
bro,
no,
have you seen his beard? He does that on purpose. His face could be made up for by not having that ridiculous beard.
dude, you're so right. I know it's impolite to stare, and I know this especially as a disabled person that got stared at a bit as a kid. I couldn't help but stare at it. I'm
No,
like,
no, 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 no. That is not. That is a false equivalence, sir. He does the beard on purpose. That is a decision made by him with agency.
that's I look, I was just staring at it and I'm like, why not just dump a chia pet on your face and call it even? Like,
If
what is
somebody does
happening over there?
something goofy as fuck to themselves on purpose via a decision that they make consciously, stare all you want, fam.
I was, bro, don't tell me twice. I was staring hard at what was going on there. I'm like, where does it end and begin? What is
How
happening?
can you not tell? It looks like it's painted on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Okay. Super Blue again. Should Ringe find a female partner to take out Hale and completely crush Issue? That seems contrary to Ridge's character. He seems very much a loner type.
But if he
Um,
would, it should be Izzy Dane, clearly.
you know what? I love how you stand your women, man. When you believe in somebody, you're like, no, I'm gonna give them this, and I know they're better than this, but everybody needs a springboard. So love that. Love that for you. Um, I think Javaris. Oh God, Javaris asking a question about himself. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but okay, which is worse for me? Cody is his world champion or fucking Tamantha is red belt champion?
You've got
Tamantha.
both. You've got both right now. You must literally just be living in hell right now, Javaris. I'm so sorry.
And if I had to pick one, you obsessed over Tamantha, bro. Even when Tamantha isn't in the conversation, you're like, you know whose fault this is? Tamantha. So like it's Tamantha. Tamantha's worse. Um, um, let's see. Oh, no, these are just comments from Foster, not questions. So okay, yeah, I think that's it for questions. Okay, yeah, then Super Bowl, it's a comment. So does anybody have any other questions?
I think it would be cool if we did do Rock Cody WrestleMania 41. Rock actually wins the fucking WWE title, but then he only holds it for 3 months. Or I guess it would be 4 months actually. He only holds it for 4 months. He doesn't wrestle at any in between pay per views, but then it builds up to Rock Roman SummerSlam 2025. Roman beats Rock for the title. And then they can build back up for Roman Cody 3 at Mania 42 for the title, which Roman would fucking retain because we don't want another goddamn Cody title reign. Fuck that.
That's some of that may be happening, others not. I don't know. I just feel like it's Cody's time now, bro. The Roman
It
Empire
doesn't.
is fallen.
It should not be Cody's. Dude, he's a failed experiment. Attendance is down, brother.
It
Ratings are
makes me
down too, brother.
yeah, I mean, it makes me happy to know that Cody's failed, probably more than it should. I mean, what kind of a sociopathic person takes pleasure in another person's failure? But you know what? For all the times that I have excused myself, I'm going to excuse myself again, except the difference is I feel like I'm in the right this time.
And
So,
to be
yeah.
fair, the person who's failing fucking sucks. So maybe we deserve this one.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. And with that said, because you were talking all this time when I like would have closed the gate and nobody asked any questions anyway, I'm just going to close the gate and say we're moving on to our next segment.
I love you
So
for that.
I love me for that
Many
too.
other reasons too, but that one in particular right now, love it.
Absolutely. So high spots and low shots. Um, let's talk about low shots. Fuck. I guess low shot just most immediately Braun Breaker. He did lose the Intercontinental title when he was very
True.
confident he was going to beat Jey Uso's ass. So yeah, Braun's just going to be my low shot. Still a great man though. Still going to make millions of dollars. Still better than LA Knight.
Millions
Who's
of
your low
dollars,
shot?
millions of dollars, millions of dollars. Primetime players shout out. What?
Well, I mean, it was a fun tag team for what it was.
It was. I wasn't denying that. You're right. Low shot though, easy as hell. Darby Allin because he throws his body around and does all kinds of stupid shit that's going to end up leading to him probably having to just exist in a wheelchair by the time he's 40. And he lost his world title shot this week too.
Yeah. Fuck you, Darby, sociopath ass. Uh, Honorary high spot goes to Brutus Creed for having one of the highlights of the fucking week with that laugh. Laughter is beautiful, young man. Don't apologize to anyone. Um,
I kind
Actual
of want
high
to go
spot.
back and listen to it again after we're done here.
You should. It's fucking magic.
It is.
Um,
And I
actual
do believe in magic.
yes. Um, let's see. High spot. Since I don't want to take a low shot and a high spot from the same match, I'm gonna hem and haw a little bit more about this. So I know I've got stuff going on in the background. So let me just mute if you guys hear quiet. It's just me thinking. So hold
Okay.
on a second.
I'm going to do the same thing while you're thinking. Maybe I shouldn't do that because then we're just going to have dead air. I should probably fill the space, huh?
Do a routine. Do a routine and show everyone how talented you are. This is the moment. This is everything you're going to redeem from your elementary school years. Go, go, go.
What kind of routine do you mean, though? Like comedy routine, dance routine? Like, I don't understand the
Whatever
question.
gives you the most anxiety that you failed to perform in your formative years, that's what you
Oh,
should do for your redemption right now.
okay. So spelling. Okay. I'm going to spell church. 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 Give me another word to spell.
Onomatopoeia. No need. I've got my high spot. I'm just gonna say my high spot's Carmelo Hayes because most
Nice.
likely now, if SmackDown treats this anything like they did when Andrade won their last match before this, Carmelo should just get a straight up one-on-one match with LA Knight. And then either Andrade just lets them have the match and LA Knight just retains. Maybe Carmelo wins, but I know like it's not over for Andrade. I'm just gonna give it to Carmelo because he tied up the series and he definitely got LA Knight's attention. So Carmelo is my high spot. Who is your high spot?
Main event, Jey Uso. He won the Intercontinental Championship, his first ever singles title, and well deserved, and really long overdue, I would say. So massive props to Jey. Super happy for him. Really got to close out Raw on a high moment, on a high spot, you could say. And it was a really good week.
There you go. All right. that's that. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please leave a like if you follow, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you miss any of that total goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the WC. And guys, we will be seeing you Monday at 5 p.m. for
Wow!
Muddy Gold Dream Star Grand Prix. Let me ask you, Ashton,
Finals!
what was that? Oh yeah,
I just
finals. So I was even going to ask you if the tournament was ending, and you just answered my question. So yeah, Dreamstar Grand Prix finals. We're going to find the winner of the first ever Dreamstar Grand Prix. 5 p.m. You're going to want to be there. We're going to still be trimming the fat a little bit. We got 2 matches and a ceremony we could skip, but it's still a longer show, and we just want to go live at 5 so that we don't miss Raw. And we can enjoy Raw with you all. So yeah, be there if you can, guys. I think it'll be great. And then yeah, beyond that, I think just the rest of the week. If you're just here for weekend review, we should just still be going live same time since we're saying fuck bad blood. And so yeah, 10:30 we'll go live, should be fine. We could talk about results and stuff like that and see if anything worthwhile came out of that goddamn show. And so yeah, should be a fun week next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Have a great Sunday tomorrow. Be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.